importance of this program is to bring a cultural understanding to community and policy leaders in North Carolina.
I'm with the Mecklenburg Police Department. I've been there for 26 years.
This is my first trip to Mexico, and participating in this program was just to experience the culture down here and to kind of get an understanding of what the people from this community face and so forth, and why do they migrate to North Carolina.
I wanted to find out about the Mexican culture so I could better understand it.
Coming here, I was a little apprehensive about, safety and then just how the city would be.
I don't think I had a really good sense of Mexico before I came here. Most of what I had seen had been off of TV.
I believe there's some people that are on this tour that have never left the United States before. It's quite interesting how people open up their eyes and realize for the first time that there are other cultures, there's other ways of doing things.
It is my first time here, and I'm so amazed because I did not realize that it was so large. I did not realize that the population was like 20 million people.
Wasn't expected the infrastructure. I wasn't expecting, to see that the city was built on top of other cities.
I was expecting pretty much the whole rural, look. That's what I was kind of expecting for the whole trip.
Today we're supposed to go to a prison, so I'm really interested in seeing how their facilities look in terms of their correctional facilities, so in comparison to the United States.
Yo ocupo el cargo de director del Centro Estatal de Reinserción y Prevención Social de San Miguel de Allende. Veo asombro en ellos y es satisfactorio que al final escuchar muy buenos comentarios.
Yesterday, we had an opportunity to go to CI5 and see how they monitor and gather information and disseminate information to local law enforcement from a state level.
Nosotros podemos hacer visible a las personas casi invisibles, ¿no? La Fundación trabaja en comunidades donde la migración es sumamente alta y ayer visitamos la comunidad de San Nicolas del Carmen. Es una comunidad pequeña, pero el 100% de las familias tienen 2 o 3 personas en Estados Unidos.
So we met a lady on the side of the road and she was carrying a bucket and I asked, what's in the bucket? And Angie says, that's tuna. And I picked it up with a stick and bit into it and I just couldn't get enough. She just gave us her whole bucket. And I'm sure it took her some time to get that into it. But I know that was part of her meal. I know that was part of what she was taking home to her family.
The thing that shocked me the most about the family that we visited is how happy a lot of them are, especially their kids. They make do with what they have and they don't complain about it.
It was different. They're proud and they're thankful and they're grateful for what they have and they're generous still.
He told us the reasons why he went to America in the first place, and then he came back and it was all to provide for his family and his 7 kids. That was sacrifice that we don't see much of in the U.S.
What was shocking was that they were of very meager means, and yet we show up, they were gracious hosts, and what little they had, they offered it to us, and they were willing to serve us.
Here they are living below our standard of life, and before we leave, they want to feed us, and you're wondering how much does this meal cost them, but yet they were more than happy to feed us. Just, it touched your heart.
I didn't expect that they would be so kind and so loving to an outsider. In the States, you don't really get that much. And that's really opened my eyes, the fact that I just met these people and it's like I'm their family.
Just like everybody else in the U.S. wants the best for their kids, they want to provide for them, they want them to have a great education, and she wants the same thing that everybody else in the U.S. wants, and she just doesn't have the same opportunities, and so it was very eye-opening to see.
You kind of understand a little more about the how tough it is and how strong the families have to be to make it through something like that, as far as the reunification sometime, or just not being together.
I'm a patrol officer, so the contact that I have with the immigrants in my response area that I work, it's difficult. And if you come into the community, A lot of times they go inside and you see the blinds open as you drive by and blinds closed.
I think we have to bridge the gap of understanding and compassion, and we have to continue to work really, really hard to build those lines of trust and enhance trust in the community.
A lot of times when we deal with the Hispanic population, they don't know where they live. They can't give me a physical address. They can maybe give me a landmark that I'm not familiar with. A lot of times officers look at that as being deceptive, when that's not the case. Lorena was like, she asked us the question, she said, tell me where you are right now. Tell me the address of this house. And we all looked around and we didn't know.
And I think some of the things you do is just open doors of communication. Don't expect anyone to know English any more than they expect me to know Spanish. Just opening up those doors and smiling and saying it's okay that you don't know English. It's okay that, you know, you're here from a different country.
Nadie ama lo que no conoce. Entonces, para querer algo hay que conocerlo, hay que apreciarlo. Y hoy estar aquí en Guanajuato, todo este grupo de mujeres y hombres de Carolina, nos da mucho gusto.
A celebration for Independence Day in Mexico was an experience I will never forget.
It was great because everybody had so much patriotism, their flags waving everywhere, fireworks coming up from every single side.
But just an exciting, electric atmosphere. So for me, we're a lot more alike than we are different.
I've been blown away. Definitely life-changing. Again, I'm getting emotional just thinking about the people here. Just a better understanding of the culture, pride that the people here in Mexico have, and just a better understanding, hopefully a better working relationship with the Hispanic community or Latino community actually when we get home.
Sometimes it seems so overwhelming that the notion is to do nothing because I can't have an impact, but I think we have to do something, just trying to better themselves or trying to better their families.
This program is extremely important. I think every law enforcement officer should have to go through a program like this.
I think we can change the mindset of a lot of the officers that we work with. So I think being able to have this experience and go home and share that with the officers that I work with, change the way they think. And hopefully, like I said, the more minds we change with that, the better I think the relationships will be with the Latino community, and especially in Monroe where we live.
The Latino community is no different than any other community, and we are all people, and we all have to work together to make it work. We all share the same space.
I've learned how important it is to embrace the community, and we as officers don't realize how hard it is for Latinos to come to America. I was your typical American. For 22 years, I was, if you come to my country, you should speak my language. I'm embarrassed to say I was that way. I see what it's like. They're doing the best they can for their family, and I want to be able to help the population.
We need more people to come here, not to Cozumel and all that, but to come here, come to Guanajuato, come to Posas, come to the heart of Mexico, and then get the real understanding of what it means to be hospitable and how to treat people.
We're forever changed by this experience, so thank you all for the opportunity and the exposure. Exposure is just as powerful as education. So to be able to experience something like this and to come back a changed person as a result of it is very powerful. Great program.
Something happens when you come and you see it because it's not me telling you or anybody else. It's that you saw it. That's the difference.